Now joined by Craig Button in Calgary. And Craig, you just released your list of the top 100 NHL draft prospects. That's up on tsn.ca. And we know that after 3 years playing junior hockey, your top-rated prospect, Alexis Lafreniere, is ready to step into the NHL next season. The question is, how much impact could he have as a rookie in this league?
He can have a significant impact, 60-plus points. And if he follows his pattern of 1 goal to 2 assists, that translates to 20 goals, 40 assists. He's such a well-balanced player, Gino. He doesn't rely on one area of his game specifically for success. And that's what a lot of players coming into the NHL at a younger age have to work on, rounding out their game. Alexis doesn't have to do that. He already has a balanced game. He passes the puck. He's got great vision. He can also shoot the puck. But he's also physically mature. He plays at the net. He plays along the board. So he's going to be able to carve out that space. He doesn't have to avoid any of the challenging areas. And when he gets into those areas, he is very dangerous offensively.
Tim Stützle and Quinton Byfield were deadlocked at number 2 when you released your last rankings back in January. Now Stützle is all alone at number 2. How did you split hairs between the two?
I'd like to tell you I flipped a coin, but that wouldn't be accurate and it would be too easy. What it came down to me, Gino, was that Tim Stützle, he has the ability to dictate to the game what he's going to do. He doesn't have to wait for the game to tell him what to do. He's got great imagination, great creativity, and he does the unexpected. He is so much like Patrick Kane in that regard, where you think he's going to do something, he might do it, he might not do it, and he might do something that's completely different. Not just the unexpected. He sees things that are there, he sees things that could be there, and he's unbelievably talented, exciting, and has that real creative bent.
Which player in this year's draft has the potential to exceed Alexis Lafreniere in the NHL, if not in the draft?
Quinton Byfield. I mean, when you look at the physical stature, you look at the skills that he possesses, I mean, that's the player when you start to look and try to project, he could be that player that ends up being the best player. Now, the question may be, well, why don't you have him number 1? Because potential isn't the same as realized potential. There's still some things that that Quinton Byfield has to work on. He's got the offensive hands of Evgeny Malkin, and he's got the desire to be a 200-foot player like Anze Kopitar. 2 Hall of Famers, and you know, that's the type of potential he has. Not there yet, and there's still the period of time to watch him and to see how he gets there. It's also going to be dependent on the team that drafts him. Because Gino, I think if a team puts him in the NHL next season, it'll be a mistake.
Wow. Jamie Drysdale and Jack Quinn are numbers 5 and 6. Paint a picture for us. Who does each of them remind you of in the NHL?
Well, Jamie Drysdale, the immediate comparison would be Cale Makar. But the player that he really reminds me of in terms of how he's rounded out his game is Hall of Famer Sergei Zubov. The ability to control the game, the ability to do it in a manner that doesn't look like he's expending a lot of energy, but he does have that electrifying ability like Cale Makar to jump into the attack offensively. So when you look at a player like Jamie Drysdale, no doubt in my mind he could be a number 1 defenseman in the National Hockey League. Jack Quinn is the best goal scorer in this draft, but he's more than a goal scorer. When I've watched him play and I've watched his progression over the last 2 years, I see David Pastrnak. I see that ability to be elusive, to do things in so many different areas of the game, and not just score, but also make plays and be a dangerous player. That's what I see in Drysdale and Jack Quinn.
If you had to pick one player from this year's draft that could be the ultimate first-round wildcard, who would that be?
No question, Hendrix Lapierre. Hendrix hasn't played a game since November 21st because of a concussion and the symptoms. But when you go back and you look at the body of work of Hendrix Lapierre at the Hlinka Gretzky tournament, arguably the best player for Team Canada along with Cole Perfetti. A dominant player in his age group. He's got a complete game. The hockey sense is off the charts, and he has a game that is reminiscent of Patrice Bergeron. I am hopeful that he gets back to health because he could be a really, really strong player in the National Hockey League.
Craig Button with some great insights into the players at the top of this year's draft class. What we don't know right now, though, is still where, when, and how this year's draft will be held.